The Chaos Gods are one of the strongest entities in the universe, stretching beyond time and space itself, created and sustained by the emotions and collective desires of every sentient being of the material universe. And there are 4 of them in total. Tzeentch, the god of change, magic, schemes, and apparently mutations. Yeah, I'm looking at you, 1,000 suns. Slaanesh, the god of excess, lust, and pegging. Nurgle, the god of plagues, stagnation, and swap ass. And finally, but not least, Khorne, the god of blood, war, and roid rage. These Chaos Gods each have billions of mortal worshippers who seek to gain their favor by committing absolutely heinous acts in their name. But the question we'll be answering today is, which god would I serve and why? So today's video is going to be a little bit more silly than the standard videos I've been doing, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into the life of each servant of each Chaos God and see which of them I am most drawn to. I'm sure you guys will have your own different opinions, and I'm excited to see what you guys think of my own. But with that said, let's jump into which god I would do absolutely, positively heinous things for, starting with the purple nurple himself, Tzeentch. Now, serving Tzeentch definitely has its pros and cons. As the god of knowledge, manipulation, and most importantly, magic, worshipping Tzeentch would offer you a vast array of options when it comes to seizing power and, most importantly, gaining victory over your loser friends and enemies. With the gift of knowledge, you could be 10 steps ahead of your opponent, or with the use of manipulation, take down all your enemies without them even knowing it. And don't forget magic, which could be used for a variety of different ways to help an individual gain whatever they seek. I feel like Tzeentch is the best option for those that are, ambitious and seek a higher purpose or role than their current state and will do whatever they need to do to get there. Now, the cons of being great at lying and pulling bunnies out of a hat is that Tzeentch is a cunt and is quite fond of a little thing called mutations. As a follower of Tzeentch, mutations are almost a given, with an individual gaining new and interesting body parts and limbs as they become more and more engrossed in following the beaked winged menace. So if you're a fan of having another set of arms, wings, or maybe a feathered beak like Tzeentch, he's the man for you. Another con is Tzeentch likes to fuck with his followers. Kind of similar to the Alpha Legion, he has schemes within schemes, resulting in a lot of his gifts being double-edged swords. For example, there was a Space Marine chapter called the Seekers of Truth that worked closely with the Inquisition, but they began thinking they were killing far more innocents than the guilty on the Inquisition's behalf. Their chapter master prayed for the ability to tell when someone was lying, just so he would be able to kill the guilty, and well, the main man himself, Tzeentch, was listening and granted his wish. The entire chapter was blessed with the ability to hear every lie spoken by mankind, and the whole chapter went absolutely nuts, instantly going rogue and becoming a traitor chapter. So like I said, it's a double-edged sword. You're going to get what you want, but at the cost of kind of getting stabbed in the ass later. Sounds about right for the god of schemes. Essentially, the way I like to see a Tzeentch follower is that each cultist believes they are special and unique in the eyes of their patron, and they think they can beat him at his own game. And every time they divine the future, triumph over an enemy, control a warp entity, or master some eldritch discipline, they reinforce this belief that they can come out ahead and that they are favored by the feathered boy. And when that luck finally runs out, and they meet their end in some treacherous way, like, mutated into a ball of meatballs, it reinforces every other Tzeentch cultist's private belief that they are in fact the ones who are truly superior to the others. So pretty much, it's schemes with the schemes, and you may achieve victory today, but you might get fucked in the ass later. Speaking of getting fucked in the ass, next we have the BDSM master himself, or herself. I honestly have no fucking idea. Slaanesh is so weird, and she's probably into that I just misgendered her. Slaanesh is the god of desires and excess, Now, most people have the idea that Slaanesh is the god of desires and thus sex. Get your head out of the gutter, little Timmy. Yes, Slaanesh is sexual, but there is a lot more to her, or him, or he, or it? Is Slaanesh an it? Fuck, I have no idea. I'm just gonna call her, or him, or whatever, Mommy Slaanesh for the remainder of the video. Ooh woo! There are dozens of variations of Slaanesh worshippers. Some are artists, musicians, or junkies. Some are perverts, some are even combatants every bit as insane as the followers of the big steroid dad Korn. But what they all have in common is that their chosen obsession is what makes them feel alive or real. I mean, just look at the Emperor's children. They strive for perfection, but became obsessed with the concept, eventually fiddling with their own gene seed and bodies to achieve what they thought was perfection in combat. And let me tell you, they were wrong. Oh boy, they were so wrong. They became depraved monsters that would seek any sensation available to them due to the negative of Slaanesh, which is that as time progresses, you will never gain any satisfaction from anything you do. It will all become hollow. You'll begin to hate your passions, but keep at it in the hope that it will stir something, anything, inside of you again. Now, with this said, Slaanesh allows its worshippers to be truly selfish, focusing on themselves and their own pleasures, desires, and wants over others, which is very enticing to the random Joe Schmo. Especially if your life is legit building mines for the Imperium that doesn't know you exist and doesn't care if you die. Yeah, I would be worshipping Mommy Slaanesh too if that was my life. But due to the nature of Slaanesh, you'll keep seeking higher and higher pleasures till you die, which I bet in the eyes of some worshippers is pretty pleasurable, which is pretty whack, if I dare say so myself. So to put it simply, Mommy Slaanesh takes people who feel dead inside and offers to give them one thing that brings them back to life over and over and over and over again, and the promise that when this chosen thrill ceases to entice, they'll have an eternity to find newer and even more eccentric means of fulfilling their deepest desires. I would like to put a forewarning out that I'm really trying to not make this video as sexual as it currently is, and I've realized that I have failed, as I think my script writing is a little too sexual. I apologize. On to the stinky boy. Nurgle, or as some call him, Grandfather Nurgle, or as I like to call him, the King of Swamp Ass, is the god of plagues, stagnation, and decay. Nurgle's main thing is infecting his worshippers with various STDs ranging from chlamydia to herpes to an incurable urge to scream, "Feed, feed, feed!" Now, many would see being infected and becoming a walking bag of pus as a bad thing. And I mean, it's kind of a bad thing, but with the blessings of Nurgle, those that are infected with his plagues and diseases are freed from the pain and anguish that these diseases cause, replacing it with happiness and joy. This unique ability to be freed from the pain and anguish allows those that are over the world and are in great pain themselves to find joy and satisfaction in what remains of their lives. The ill and injured amongst his ranks aren't the hollow-eyed addicts of Slaanesh, forever chasing a dragon they can't catch. No, they gain real, tangible pleasure from their afflictions. For example, once the Death Guard embraced Papa Nurgle's stinky hug, they became hollowed out, disgusting bags of flesh. But at the same time, they don't seem to observe their hideous state or even care that they have their guts hanging out from their armor, which I would say is quite gnarly. They honestly all seem pretty content with what has happened to them, which is crazy. So the pro of serving Nurgle is true happiness and joy with seemingly the inability to die to disease, the old age, or any wound, but with the con of becoming a disgusting ball of diseased flesh comparable to Oscar the Grouch. Tough choice. Last but not least is Gorn, the god of combat, rage, and most importantly, blood. You know how the saying goes, guys. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Blood for the Black Dog, skulls for the Skull Throne. You know, a classic phrase. Gorn is the patron god of warriors and killers alike. And as we all know, Gorn cares not from where the blood comes, only that it is spilt. Worshipping Gorn is pretty simple. Kill, spill blood, take skulls, repeat until you die. Pretty goddamn simple. And that's all he wants. Combat. I mean, that is a pro in itself. It is simple. Simplicity. Imagine you're an imperial citizen. You got taxes. You got a family. You got obligations. You have morals, ethics. You have weird cultural issues where you might want to worship some guy who's dead on the golden throne. It's very confusing and very exhausting. Now, imagine most of these people are probably really depressed, really anxious, and most of them are probably borderline insane, especially if you're just eating corpse starch every single goddamn day. Say one day you try to move up in the world. There will have to be sacrifices, and always will come at the expense of others. So what's the point of it all? Gorn can give you that escape from all of that, because Gorn, like we said, only wants one thing. He doesn't care about morality. He doesn't care about ethics. He doesn't even care about being publicly worshipped. The entire sum total of what he wants can be summed up in the 10 words I screamed earlier like a small, abandoned child. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. And that's it. For someone who has struggled to be a good, exemplary citizen in a universe that absolutely despises them, there might be nothing more powerful than the urge to simply give up enjoying the simplicity of killing and taking the blood of others for the rest of their mortal life, erasing the pain of complacency and replacing it with the simple life of taking other people's skulls from their bodies. Now, there are some cons, and well, I guess the only one is that you're driven to kill everyone and every person around you, just to keep killing. Kill. That's pretty much all you're going to do as a core knight. You're just going to kill everyone, even your dog, which would be pretty damn sad. You've pretty much traded a life of rational thinking for a life of unrelenting death and destruction. Enticing indeed. But now that we've gone through all 4 gods, let's answer the question, which god would I do absolutely diabolical things for? So now I'm going to go through each god and give my reasons for not picking them, starting with the Lord of Change and Chess. Now, I'm sure you guys aren't surprised by this pick. Tzeentch is a cool guy, but nothing really entices me to be like, oh yeah, that's my guy right there. He's the god of magic. Okay, cool. I don't want to pull bunnies out of a hat. He's a god of schemes and manipulations. And guys, if you don't know me, which you probably don't, but I'm dumb as a brick. There's no way I would succeed even with the powers of a chaos god. Then there's the negatives of, possibly becoming a walking ball of spaghetti. And if I fuck up, I'll simply stop existing. Yeah, I think I shall pass. So to put it simply, if I was a Tzeentch follower, this is how it would go. Me not smart, me not use my powers right, me fuck up, me become big ball of goo. Nurgle is next, and honestly, Nurgle's definitely not the worst god. He's in the running since you become literally quite a jolly fella, not caring about the shittiness of life and simply letting it all hang out with the boys. The only negative is, what is hanging out are your entrails, and they have become rotten and incredibly gnarly. Now, it would be cool to be in a state of perpetual joy, not gonna lie, but the negative of having to literally rot away, isn't that appealing to me? I mean, a perfect example of this rot not being the best is from the book Plague War. So pretty much what happens in this book is a squad of Death Guard Space Marines are cut off from the warp and suddenly become aware of what they have become, And you know, without Nurgle's blessings, the disease, rot, and STDs that are affecting them hit them like a literal truck, and they literally start to scream and die. It's kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, this will be okay until you know you aren't and you're a walking whoopee cushion. I have a feeling some of you know where this one is going. No, I am not a perv. Well, yes, I am a perv, but I'm not going to openly admit it by picking Slaanesh. Wait, disregard what I said. Look here in the light, please, sir. Yes, I'm not picking Mommy Slaanesh either. Wow, insane, I know. Insane. Slaanesh does appeal to me in a sense. I do strive for perfection, as I have an unhealthy relationship with the gym and lifting heavy objects. So I could see myself falling for Mommy Slaanesh, but at the same time, I really don't think they're the most ideal god to serve. Fulfilling your desires is cool and all, but for what I've seen from the books that contain Mommy Slaanesh followers, is that they tend to die. Yeah, they die a lot, and in pretty hideous ways. I'm talking specifically about the Maravilla from the book Fulgrim. For those that have read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about and how icky wicky it is. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, you will want to jump in the shower and wash yourself for hours on end after reading this passage. But since I'm an asshole, I'm going to tell you what it is anyways. So this was a musical symphony, a fucking musical symphony, mind you, that occurred aboard the Emperor's Children flagship Pride of the Emperor. Yes, it's a fucking song, guys. It starts off pretty tame, but quickly grew to insane levels as demonettes of Slaanesh began to appear, and the crowd itself that was watching said musical performance began to kill, fuck, and eat each other. Mind you, this crowd included Space Marines. Wow, that's not even the worst part. Space Marines grabbed the musical instruments from the stage and turned them into weapons, blasting people with sonic waves, and thus Noise Marines were made. So much for the sound of music, guys. So yes, Slaanesh or Mommy Slaanesh is enticing, but I would rather not spend my time putting nails in my ass to see if it was pleasurable. So now we come to the end, and honestly, guys, this was an easy decision. Khorne himself is easy. The dude doesn't get mad like Tzeentch and turn you into a chaos spawn. My body won't mutate and rot like Nurgle, and I won't become addicted to drugs like Slaanesh. I will just simply have to kill people for the rest of my life. And honestly, that's not that bad. I swear, I'm not a serial killer. I won't have to worry about taxes or laundry. I won't have to worry about filing my W-2. I won't have to worry about going to work 9 to 5. I will just have to worry about winning in combat and taking out my opponents. It's just that simple. It's plain and simple. With the added plus of screaming blood for the blood guys. Like, come on, guys. Why would you not pick Khorne when you can hang out with Mr. Karn the Betrayer and big scary angry boy Angron? Maybe not Angron, but Karn for sure. I mean, you get to stay pretty much normal, as the worshippers of Khorne have barely any mutations and just have to spill blood to appease your patron. I think it's an absolute win, to be honest. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a silly dyslexic cow. Well, that about wraps up this video, guys. I try to keep it as silly as possible, as you could probably tell. If you're not subbed, make sure to hit that sub button and like the video if you enjoyed me being an idiot for over 20 minutes. The next video I'm cooking up right now is going to be a very, very long one, and it is power scaling every single version of the baldest man alive, who is Horus Lubercal, the War Master. And yes, that includes Chaos Empowered Horus, which honestly, there are multiple versions of that. And guys, I have been going through copious amounts of lore the past couple days, trying to really scale him out, and it's so goddamn hard. I think I'm losing brain cells. I'm putting a lot of effort into that one. So this video was a little bit of a silly one, just because the Horus power scaling video will be insane in proportions to this one. I'm thinking it'll be out in 1 to 2 weeks. It's all just based off life and if I become really busy like I was this past weekend or not. So I hope it comes out 1 to 2 weeks. Just keep your eyes peeled. As always, guys. Jokes aside, I truly appreciate all you guys, and I appreciate the support the channel has been getting lately. It is absolutely flabbergasting and amazing. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And as always, stay milked, lads and ladies and heretics alike. I'll see you in the next video.